In the serene expanse of the Pacific Ocean lies a tale of survival against all odds. Join us on a riveting journey into the heart of one of aviation's most harrowing moments as we unravel the gripping story behind Air Niugini Flight 73. Set against the backdrop of azure waters and tropical skies, this documentary unveils the dramatic events of September 28, 2018, when a routine landing turned into a fight for survival. Brace yourself for an immersive exploration into the human spirit, resilience, and the unfathomable forces that shape the fate of those aboard. This is more than just a story. It's a testament to the indomitable will to overcome adversity against the backdrop of a paradise lost and found. Welcome to the untold story of Flight 73. On September 28, 2018, at Pohnpei International Airport, Air Niugini Flight 73 prepared for departure amidst the serene beauty of Micronesia. Ground crews ensured the aircraft's readiness, while passengers eagerly awaited their journey. In the cockpit, pilots meticulously reviewed plans and safety procedures. Little did they know, this routine morning would soon be marked by unforeseen events. Air Niugini, the national carrier of Papua New Guinea, stands as a symbol of connectivity and reliability in the region. With its fleet of modern aircraft and commitment to safety, Air Niugini provides essential air travel services to Pohnpei, linking it to destinations far and wide across the Pacific. Together, Pohnpei International Airport and Air Niugini form a vital lifeline for the island's residents and a gateway for travelers seeking to explore the natural wonders of Micronesia. Pohnpei International Airport serves as a vital gateway to the verdant paradise of Pohnpei, one of the 4 states comprising the Federated States of Micronesia. Nestled amidst lush tropical foliage, this airport connects the island to the world with its modern facilities and warm Pacific hospitality. Air Niugini Flight 73 charted its course from Pohnpei International Airport to Port Moresby, Papua New Guinea, spanning approximately 1,700 kilometers over 3 hours of flight time. However, en route, Chuuk International Airport served as a crucial stopover and refueling site for the aircraft. The aircraft was a Boeing 737-8BK with registration P2PXE and manufacturer, serial number, MSN 33024, belonging to a Boeing line number 1688. This particular aircraft had a complex and somewhat unlucky history. It took its maiden flight on the 1st of April 2005, powered by 2 CFM International CFM 567B-26 engines. Originally delivered to Air India Express and registered as VTAXC on the 19th of April 2005, it encountered an unfortunate incident on the 6th of July 2005, sustaining damage during a runway excursion at Cochin International Airport, India. Subsequently, it changed hands several times, being sold to Jet Airways in 2010, then to CIT Leasing Corporation in 2013, and finally to Loftlighter. Loftlighter leased the aircraft to Air Niugini on the 13th of September 2013, where it was registered as P2PXE. Unfortunately, on the 12th of May 2018, it suffered damage to its right winglet when struck by a Lockheed L-100 Hercules and 403 LC of Linden Air Cargo while parked at Port Moresby Airport. The captain, serving as the pilot in command, was a 52-year-old Papua New Guinean male boasting an impressive total flight time of 19,780 hours, including 2,276 hours specifically on the Boeing 737 aircraft. Assisting him was a 35-year-old Australian male, the first officer, with a flight record of 4,618 hours, 368 of which were dedicated to the Boeing 737. Additionally, an engineer from Loflighter occupied the cockpit jump seat, providing technical support and expertise throughout the flight. Onboard Air Niugini Flight 73 were a total of 47 occupants, comprising 35 passengers and 12 crew members. Among the passengers were individuals from various walks of life, each with their own stories, dreams, and destinations. From eager tourists seeking adventure in the Pacific to seasoned travelers returning home, the cabin held a diverse tapestry of humanity. Meanwhile, the crew members, consisting of skilled pilots, diligent flight attendants, and essential support staff, worked in unison to ensure the safety and comfort of everyone on board. At 8:21 local time, Air Niugini Flight 73 received clearance for takeoff from Pohnpei International Airport, carrying 35 passengers and 12 crew members. The aircraft would make a stopover at Chuuk International Airport to refuel before continuing on to Port Moresby, Papua New Guinea. 30 minutes after takeoff, while cruising steadily over the Pacific Ocean, the pilots of the aircraft discussed the landing plan, which involved configuring the brake system and wing flaps. However, at this crucial juncture, the pilots overlooked an important reference point where they could clearly confirm the runway of the airport. As they prepared to descend, the captain informed the first officer that they were at a significantly higher altitude than the airport and needed to initiate a rapid descent to ensure a timely landing. At 8:56, the pilots initiated a rapid descent, bringing the aircraft to an altitude of 34,000 feet at a rate of descent of 944 feet per minute. Meanwhile, the first officer communicated with the air traffic control station to report the aircraft's altitude of 34,000 feet. The two pilots conferred and agreed to commence the landing process in the next 2 minutes. At 9:05, the captain notified the first officer that they had descended at an excessive rate of speed and needed to reduce speed to meet the required velocity. 3 minutes later, the captain confirmed that they had attained the required speed. After receiving the information from the captain, the first officer contacted the air traffic control station at Chuuk Airport to request weather updates. The air traffic controller responded, wind speed 5 knots, visibility 4 miles, bearing 280 degrees, altitude 2,973 feet. At 9:15, the first officer contacted the airport's air traffic control, ATC, and reported that they would be landing on runway 04 from the southeast direction. At 9:20, the aircraft was almost ready to land on runway 04 at the airport, with its altitude at approximately 2,000 feet. When the aircraft's altitude reached 1,000 feet, it was stable and ready to land, but the nose of the plane was higher than the recommended landing angle of 3 degrees. Immediately afterward, the captain disengaged the autopilot and announced plans to regain altitude. As the aircraft descended to an altitude of 548 feet, it encountered a heavy rain shower, prompting the captain to activate the windshield wipers. Simultaneously, the aircraft reached the minimum descent altitude, MDA. MDA is the minimum altitude that an aircraft must maintain during descent for landing. Pilots are required to maintain this altitude and must not descend below it until they have visual contact with the runway. Upon approaching the minimum descent altitude, MDA, at the missed approach point, map, the aircraft's altitude remained at 307 feet, triggering glide slope and sink rate warnings in the cockpit, catching both pilots off guard. Sink rate warning alerts the pilots of an excessive descent rate toward the runway. In reality, the aircraft's descent rate exceeded 1,000 feet per minute, 5.1 m per s in instrument meteorological conditions, IMC. However, due to the lack of visual contact with the runway, the captain decided to disregard these warnings. In total, the captain disregarded 13 warnings, some of which were critically important, throughout the descent and approach phase. When the aircraft reached an altitude of 100 feet, the captain suddenly realized the gravity of the situation.
Sink rate.
He exclaimed
Sink rate.
loudly, "Flight slow, flight slow."
Flight slow. Flight slow. Sink rate. Sink
But
rate.
it was too late. At
Flight
10:10,
slow.
Air
Flight
Niugini
slow.
Flight 73 crashed into the
100.
waters of Chuuk,
Flight slow.
approximately
Flight
135
slow.
meters
Sink
from the
rate.
runway of the airport.
Sink rate.
Initial reports indicated that all 12 crew members and 35 passengers were successfully rescued by local boats and United States Navy personnel. However, a male Indonesian passenger was reported missing following the evacuation process. Despite 3 days of intensive search efforts, the passenger seated at 23A remained unaccounted for, prompting the investigative commission to request a verification search of the aircraft. On October 1st, 2018, Japanese divers discovered the missing passenger lodged between partially submerged seat rows 22 and 23, near a fuselage fracture. Tragically, this passenger, who was not wearing a seatbelt, was found deceased. Air Niugini had previously stated that other passengers had witnessed the deceased passenger during the evacuation process. 9 individuals were transported to the hospital, with 6 passengers sustaining serious injuries, including broken bones. Reports indicated the presence of thunderstorms in the vicinity of the airport at the time of the accident. Subsequently, the aircraft sank in 30 meters, 100 feet of water. The Papua New Guinea Accident Investigation Commission initiated an investigation into the accident. Meanwhile, the Department of Transportation, Communications and Infrastructure in the Federated States of Micronesia also conducted its own investigation, issuing a preliminary report on October 26th. This report confirmed the recovery of the deceased passenger's body from the aircraft. Pathological analysis revealed that the passenger had succumbed to injuries within 3 minutes of impact. An autopsy indicated a lack of trauma around the waist and hips, suggesting the passenger was not wearing a seatbelt during the crash, resulting in severe head and facial injuries. On July 18, 2019, the Papua New Guinea Accident Investigation Commission released its final report, attributing the accident to multiple factors. The flight crew failed to adhere to Air Niugini standard operating procedures and neglected proper approach and pre-landing checklists. The flight path became unstable after autopilot disconnect, with the precision approach path indicator indicating 3 white lights just before entering instrument meteorological conditions, IMC. The rate of descent exceeded 1,000 feet per minute in IMC, and the glide slope deviated significantly after passing the minimum descent altitude. Despite hearing 13 enhanced ground proximity warning system, EGPWS, oral alerts, including glide slope and sink rate warnings, the crew disregarded them and maintained an average glide slope of 4.5 degrees. Additionally, the EGPWS displayed a visual pull-up warning on the primary flight display. The pilots experienced a loss of situational awareness, and despite the unstabilized approach, the captain did not execute a missed approach. The co-pilot was ineffective in recognizing the rapidly unfolding unsafe situation. The continuous whoop-whoop pull-up oral warning could have effectively alerted the crew to the imminent danger. The final report stated confusion led to a botched evacuation of the airplane. According to cabin crew members, the word evacuate was not understood by some of the passengers. Several passengers took their cabin baggage with them against instructions. However, some cabin crew members acted with conspicuous courage, retrieving passengers lying underwater in the aisle or still strapped in their seats. The report concluded the Papua New Guinea Civil Aviation Safety Authority did not meet the high standard of evidence-based assessment required for safety assurance, resulting in numerous deficiencies and errors. In the wake of tragedy, may the memories of those lost forever soar in the hearts of those they left behind.